Certified financial planner professionals are certified to provide comprehensive financial planning that can address just about any facet of one's financial life, including retirement, estate planning, taxes, education, and more. For more info, go to letsmakeaplan.org to find a CFP professional for you.
It is Mike and Mike here on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Stugotz Mike Golic Jr. with you on Labor Day. Good morning, Mike Golic Jr.
Stugotz.
Yes.
Good to see you up in Bristol.
Yes.
How? Why?
They asked me to do a show in September and not November or December, and so therefore.
Good point.
Therefore, I'm up here doing it. How? Like, you asked that, like, was that a how, like you were invited back to do this show because you screwed it up so badly last time, or just how, like, why is a guy from South Beach coming up to Bristol, Connecticut?
Pretty much, yeah. How are they able to drag you up here, what I'm guessing was against your will, on a holiday that you could have had off? Like, you were defying so many of the Stugotzian fraudcasting school principles by working on a holiday in a place that you don't live.
That's a very good point. How about this holiday, Labor Day? Is it a... Because I believe that Labor Day is the most conflicting of all the holidays. It's a confusing holiday. Does Labor Day make you happy or sad?
Oh, sad. So last night I was at like a Labor Day barbecue.
Right.
And I realized at the end of the meal, this meal signifies that summer is technically over.
Correct.
Like, this is like a funeral. It's terrible.
A funeral? That bad?
It's the end of summer. Like, the only plus is that I did have like the fall chills moment the other day where I was walking home and I looked inside the door and I saw college football was on TV and I got a light breeze and I was wearing a hoodie and I realized, oh my God, fall football is here. That part was great, but the death of summer sad.
It is. It's
You're right. It's conflicting.
It is. It's the most conflicting of all the holidays. I really believe that because listen, Thanksgiving, right? You get off that Thursday, essentially Wednesday. You're done for the week.
Yep.
And it's a feel-good holiday, and you're with family. You're watching football on Thursday. You're watching some football on Friday. You're eating a lot, which we all know you and your family like to do.
Yep, relax the waistband.
Right, Christmas, Hanukkah, impossible for that not to be fun. But Labor Day is kind of one of those conflicting holidays where you get the Monday off. That's the good thing. The bad thing is, you're right. It's the end of summer. Kids are going back to school. I remember growing up feeling depressed on Labor Day. I mean, you get to 45, Mike, you just stop caring, okay? One day bleeds into another.
Yeah, no, you stopped caring about a lot of things a long time ago.
You stop caring about just about everything, with the exception of work and, and stuff like that. But you stop caring.
That's an exception?
Yeah, I don't care about work either. So, but yes, it's a conflicting holiday from this standpoint. You have the Monday off. That's the good thing. The bad thing is, Tuesday is school. Real life starts again. The summer's over. It's really, when you break it down, it's not that conflicting. It's just a depressing holiday.
Yeah, no. So happy Labor Day, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you are. Get ready for the Monday scaries this week. We pushed them off a night, but they're still coming.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests appear on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. You can tweet us anytime through the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. It is at Stugotz790, at M. Golic Jr. 57. Mike, let's get it rolling here with Off the Top. Now, they have left me to my own devices here.
Yeah.
I have the Greeny soundboard open here. I am terrified of the Greeny soundboard. I'm just going to hit buttons left and right the entire morning here. I don't care if they make sense or not. I'm just going to hit buttons. Like, that's what I'm going to do. Let's try. Should we try one out right now?
Yeah, let's go.
Brooks is freaking out.
Go ahead and fire this bad boy up.
Well, what are we supposed to do right now? We're supposed to do Off the Top?
Off the top, yeah. Go ahead.
Let's see if I have the right bed here. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on.
Close.
Nope. All right.
Close.
Let me try this. Is that it?
No, we're getting there.
All right, let me try this.
It's time for At the Mics.
No.
But we're at Mics. You and I are at the Mics. There's Off the Top. There it is.
Wow, they took control from you.
Brooks, did you hit that?
Yeah.
You hit that for me?
Oh,
No. Give me
yeah.
Brooks, listen to me right now. Hembo, are you communicating with Brooks right now?
I can.
You tell him. Has he cut off me being able to use the soundboard?
Off the top.
You stop hitting that button, Brooks. You stop right now.
Hit it again.
Off the top.
Hembo, are you communicating with him?
I can.
Tell him to stop hitting that button,
Sure thing.
and I want access to this board again. Tell him right now.
The top.
Brooks, let me try to hit it.
Boom. Off the top.
Yeah.
The remix.
The remix version. Hold on.
Yeah.
Brooks, let you and I hit it at the same exact time here, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Off the top.
Yeah.
Top.
Yeah. Look at Herm Edwards.
This is the remix.
Mike,
going well.
Before I get to off the top, tell everyone we're in the makeup room before the show. Herm Edwards comes strolling in. He's been up since 3 o'clock working out.
Oh, yeah.
Tell everyone what Herm Edwards said upon seeing us.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He almost turned around out of the room. He immediately regretted coming in to do his hit this morning on what was at one time a prestigious flagship program for ESPN that we have now commandeered and rode
You
the freight train
play
to
to
hell.
win the game.
Off the top. The top.
All right, go Joe. Down 34 points in the third quarter. I went to sleep last night. I thought this game was over. UCLA rallied to beat Texas A&M and complete the second largest comeback in FBS history. Bruins quarterback Josh Rosen, who sits at number 3 on Mel Kiper Jr.'s 2018 big board. The Jets' offensive line. Oh, that poor kid. He'll be playing behind that line next year. He threw for 491 yards, including 292 yards, 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of last night's game. UCLA comes back to win that game. Mike, your thoughts?
I got something later for a lot of Josh Rosen haters that were out early in full force last night, because that kid was getting beat up all game last night going into that fourth quarter. He has very little help out there, if any, and he still made it happen. On 3rd and 7, down 44-10 with under 4 minutes left in the third, UCLA had a .33% chance to win. It's the 5th most improbable comeback in a game involving Power 5 teams in the last 10 seasons. Take that one.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible what happened. I went to sleep. That's happened to you before, right? You go to sleep thinking your game's over. You wake up, you're like, what?
I was exhausted last night. I
Yeah.
looked down, and I had been on the Josh Rosen bandwagon all preseason, defending this kid, saying that this is prime for a comeback season because he was injured at the end of last year. People wanted to hate coming off all his comments about school, and he just let them all have it a little bit.
Rosen was in the zone, and it's brought to you by AutoZone. Drive the new Duralast GT brake pads, proven tough from the tracks to the streets and sold only at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. It's kind of interesting because I was thinking last night as Rosen's having that bad game, many of the big-time quarterbacks, the quarterbacks that Mel's talking about that are going the top 10 next year in the NFL draft, they didn't get off to a good start. None of the guys.
No, it was
except for Josh Rosen, who in the fourth quarter last night kind of fixed that.
In the hot seat bowl, by the way, Jim Mora and Kevin Sumlin both sitting there before the game, basically waiting to let the win or losses judged by 18 to 22-year-old kids govern the future of their employment. What a life.
All right, Stanzik, let's hit this one together. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Off the top. The top.
The remix is better, is it not, Mike?
I tell you, people are clamoring for it.
Yes. Florida State quarterback DeAndre Francois will miss the rest of the season after suffering a patellar tendon injury Saturday against Alabama. Francois led all FBS freshmen in passing yards last season and entered the season at 15-1 to win the Heisman Trophy, tied for the 4th best odds according to the Westgate Las Vegas Superbook.
As a crushing blow for this team, and really at the end of what had been an evenly matched game for 3 quarters before a lot of special teams blunders on the part of Florida State ultimately led to their demise. That's a championship defense. The guys they've got on that side of the ball are just freakish. And for this blow to an offense that was already going to have trouble matching that for certain points this year, I don't know how they recover. The ACC is as wide open as we've seen it in a while.
Yeah, but a lot of it sounds crazy, but this is the reality. A lot of teams in the ACC, the Hurricanes, teams like that, I don't want to say excited that he got injured, but certainly opens up the door for them to go out and win the ACC.
They can't control him getting injured. And you're right, crushing for him personally. I was on teams back-to-back. One of my best friends playing quarterback tore his ACL tore his knee up Halloween weekend in consecutive seasons.
Right.
And it has an unbelievable effect on the dynamic of your team. But if you're Florida State, this is kind of the time for it to happen. You have time to break in whoever the backup is going to be. I believe it's a true freshman or a redshirt freshman quarterback behind him. So going to have a lot of growing pains.
Mike and Mike is presented by Progressive Insurance. Our guest list today, Herm Edwards, 6:30, Phil Steele at 7 o'clock, Albert Breer at 8, and Booger McFarland at 9 o'clock. All phone guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. If you miss any of those guests, you can listen to all 4 hours of Mike and Mike on demand in the ESPN app. Mike, you know what's going to happen with this injury to DeAndre Francois is a lot of people, because there was discussion leading into the weekend, Do you want big games like this to start the season? Florida State, Alabama. Listen, what happened to him against Alabama going to happen to him against any single team, but you're starting to hear it already. That's why you don't play Alabama week 1 of the regular season.
Well, I thought we were going down the same path last night with Josh Rosen and UCLA because it was the same level of hits. We saw DeAndre Francois take a pounding last year for Florida State, and Alabama's defense better predicated to do that than most, but we're doing the same thing. We're beating him up that whole game, and it just happened to be one bad hit to end it. I was scared we were going to have the same thing with Rosen last night,
right.
The amount of contact that was getting made with him.
It's interesting because people are going to praise Rosen like myself, who fell asleep and didn't watch the end of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Texas A&M's defense was dreadful. Quarterback got hurt. Defense was dreadful. Like, you'll see those stats. You'll see the big numbers he put up, especially in the fourth quarter. He had a couple of passes that went right through Texas A&M quarterback's hands and was completed by UCLA, and they brought it in for a touchdown. But there was some luck involved with that last night. It wasn't like he was throwing darts all over the field.
No,
the defense was dreadful for Texas A&M.
Listen, to come back down 34 points or 33 points, whatever it ended up being,
right.
You're going to need a little bit of luck.
Yes. I mean, imagine going to sleep thinking you had that game covered, by the way.
Oh, thoughts and prayers with that community, by the way.
Off the top.
I did it right there. How about that? All right, Golic, the Indians swept the Tigers to extend their win streak to 11 games. Tim Kirchin told me all year, that the Indians were the best team in the American League. And he said, just be patient, just wait, and we've been patient, and we've waited, and he was right, of course. They extended their winning streak to 11 games, tied for the longest streak by any team this season. Over in the National League, the Diamondbacks swept the Rockies to extend their win streak to 10 games, including 8 straight, where they haven't trailed. From Elias, the Diamondbacks are the second team since 2005 to go 8 straight games without trailing, joining the Indians, who did it in July.
Sticking with the Indians on that note, starting pitching for them during the win streak been the key. They've gone 6 straight games where their starters allowed 1 or fewer runs, and their starters have an MLB best 1.39 ERA during that win streak. So, Tom, coming through with the prophecy.
Yeah, Tom Kirchin is coming through with the prophecy. How many people are going to blast us for calling Tim Kirchin Tom Kirchin?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just waiting for it on Twitter. I mean, I'm going to check the mentions. Yes, well, you're counting on it, right? Yes. Are you going to respond to any of them?
I'm poking the bear. No, of course not.
I think the Indians are the best team in the American League.
Yeah. I listen, you're not going to get any argument from me, certainly not from this show when Dad gets back in the seat. He'll be the first one to take credit for a streak that he has no idea is even going on right now.
That's why I love him.
Off the top.
All right, Mike, get prepared here. Hembo, strap in, boys. I'm telling you, they gave me a tough name to pronounce here.
Oh, boy.
Mike, you might have to pronounce it. Do you have the same sheet of paper that I have in front of you there?
Yep.
All right. You'll know when to fill in here, okay? Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer continue their collision course to meet in the U.S. Open semifinals as each is in the round of 16 on Monday. Nadal takes on unseeded Ukrainian Alexander. Go ahead, Mike.
Dolgopol. Oh, Dolgopolov. Excuse me. I didn't see the last part of that.
Yes. Dolgopolov.
There it is. Yeah.
And can pick up his 50th career match win at the U.S. Open. And Federer takes on, give me a break, Philippe Kohlschreiber. Did I get that right? Did I get it right? Against whom? Well, Hembo, did I get it right? All right.
Philip, right?
Yeah, Philip.
Philip.
How do you feel about that?
Philip.
Yes, Philip.
I think I love it.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Would you rather be called Philip or Philip?
There's a lot of Philips in the world, man. There's only one Philip, and I just met him.
Yeah, you're right. Well, you didn't actually meet him, but...
Close enough.
Okay. Philip Kohlschreiber, against whom Federer is a perfect 11-0 in his career. Nadal, Federer, especially Federer, still getting it done, Mike.
The two names that everyone will actually know in that reading were the ones we spent the least amount of time talking about.
Correct.
Go figure.
Philip.
I'm
looking for... I think that's Friday night, right? If they meet up, Nadal and Federer.
Yes. Yeah, which is...
I have a bat mitzvah on Friday night. I'm a little upset by that.
I had a wedding this weekend during all the college football action, so I can sympathize with your place in this. Just, have the watch app ready. Okay. It'll take care of you. Company man.
You are a company man. Jeez, that was very
off the top.
I can't sit at a bat mitzvah, just standing in the corner watching the ESPN app.
That's why you can walk out and go to the bathroom or something. I
can't do that. I've done that like 1,000 times.
Well, yeah, of course. Yes. I figure that 90% of what I'm getting on here is just a lie that I'm gonna have to parse my way through, which is fine. I speak Stugotz at this point.
I did it at my daughter's bat mitzvah. That was Off the Top, presented by Progressive Insurance. We'll compare rates for you so you get the best deal, even if not with us, saving you time and money. That's Progressive. Call or click today. Mike and Mike, reminding you can watch and listen to your favorite games. Gojo, very well done.
Hey.
And your favorite shows on the ESPN app. It is simple, it is easy, and it keeps you connected. Take ESPN with you everywhere, including bar and bat mitzvahs. Download the ESPN app now. Golic was thinking about this over the weekend. Herm Edwards going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes, but was thinking about this over the weekend. Alabama. Is it possible we're arriving at a place where Alabama might be considered bad for college football? Because it seems like before the season starts, what's the main complaint you get about the NBA?
Golden State.
Golden State and Cleveland. The regular season is meaningless. We know the two teams that are going to meet up in the NBA Finals. Is it fair to say that it seems like every year we go into the season knowing one of the Final Four teams is going to be Alabama? And I'm wondering if there's Alabama fatigue and if people are starting to get tired of the University of Alabama and its football program.
I'm sure part of that, I'm sure people are. Now, part of the reason why I don't really care, I don't have the fatigue, is I enjoy seeing people get beat by Alabama the way I got beat because it makes it seem less bad for when it happened to me. But for the rest of that, I'd agree in college football that the playoff has started to become a lot of the same names. And the way I look at it is this: Alabama seems the most bulletproof of this bunch right now. So I'm rooting for the Ohio States of the world, the Clemsons of the world, to maybe falter a little bit this year so we can get some of that new blood in the college football playoff. Because it's basically been Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, some combination of the two there, and then insert, a Michigan State, an Oklahoma, a Washington. So we just need a few more of those names to get mixed into the bunch, and Alabama's not going to be the one left out.
They're the only team that's made the CFP all 3 seasons. It's just like, for me, I don't know. I'm watching them play Florida State. It's kind of a weird weekend in college football because the games that you expected to be exciting were not exciting. There were some exciting games, but the 2 games you really thought were going to be exciting, Alabama, Florida State, the Gators, and Michigan, were kind of dreadful, boring games, right? But I kind of was thinking about it over the weekend. Man, I'm just tired of this team. Like, just methodical and great and consistent every single year. They're going to be in the Final Four again this year, likely in the national championship game. They probably should have beat Clemson last year in the championship game. And I find myself getting tired of Alabama, its program, and Nick Saban. But I think a lot of people would argue they're good for college football. It doesn't matter. A dynasty is good for any sport.
Yeah, and I guess for me, I can't quit them, especially watching them on defense. Right. If you gave Alabama because Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback for what they're asked to do there.
Sure.
He's not a guy that I think is going to light up the stat sheet anytime through the air, which is, I think, a lot of people would change their opinion on Alabama if you could have more of a dynamic passing attack, because we always hear about the boa constrictor with them on offense, the way they wear teams down, use that running game to grind teams, and then in the second half just sort of take over. That's not really sexy as a viewing product, but watch their defense and watch Minkah Fitzpatrick and watch these absolute cyborgs they've got on their defensive line. It is one of the most terrible. Every year they just lost Jonathan Allen. They bring back, Deron Payne is one of the few guys they bring back on that D-line, and it's a lot of new faces we're going to get to know, and they're all some of the most terrifying young men I've ever seen. And watch the way they play defense compared to the rest of the way college football plays defense is startling.
Well, what's the difference there? What are you saying there? Like, what are they doing differently?
Athleticism at every position. When you look, especially in the back end, Minkah Fitzpatrick's the name I bring up. When you look at what they're able to do with the amount of athleticism they've got at every position, because most places, if you've got great DBs, it can help mitigate what is a less than stellar pass rush. You've got a great pass rush, you can cover up on the back end. They don't need to do any of that, so they can disguise things. They can send in multiple packages. They can play this more closely to its NFL counterpart than most college defenses can. College, a gross disparity in the talent department from the Sunday product, which is why usually it turns a lot of people who are Sunday fans off. No. If you like NFL football, you'll love watching Alabama and Florida State's defense. Watch them all year. That is a stellar group.
Mike, who are some of the teams? And listen, I understand what you're saying. For me, I don't know. I'd like to see some different teams in the Final Four, and my fear is Alabama's just going to be there every single year. It's a tribute. Here's the most impressive thing that Nick Saban has done with that program. Go ahead. Name the great quarterback that he's had during this run. Name a single great quarterback that he's had. Because quarterback, the most important position in sports. We all know that. Certainly at the NFL level, it is the most important position. Nick Saban's been able to go on this run without a quarterback who's been successful at all in the NFL. Maybe A.J. McCarron's been the most successful quarterback he's had during this run.
It's almost been a throwaway position. This is the first time since 2013 they've even returned a starter at quarterback, had the same guy come back, and it was one who started as a true freshman for them last year, and in his own ways rewrote a lot of the Alabama records. What he's able to do, especially his component on the ground as part of their ground game, is the difference for that team on offense. Like, they've got great running backs and they've got a great offensive line, and Calvin Ridley at wide receiver is going to be that next sort of dynamic guy, maybe not into the top end production we've seen from some of the Alabama wide receivers as of late, but he's got that deep threat for him. Jalen Hurts in their run game is going to be the reason they contend for a title again this year.
It's it's interesting though that he's been able to do this with basically with great skill position players. He's had great running backs. He's had great wide receivers. He's had great guys on defense. We know that. He's been able to do it without quarterbacks. Well, yeah. And the one team that beat him was Deshaun Watson, who was a great college quarterback.
It's the irony. Yes. That's the exact thing that beats them pretty much every time. If Alabama gets beat, it's by the same mold of quarterback, right? A guy who's an accurate passer but can move around, can beat you enough with his legs to make things interesting. It's the exact thing that Alabama's never really had at that position. You could argue maybe gets a little closer now with Jalen Hurts, but again, until the passing attack develops to the level of some of those other guys, I kind of separated a bit.
Wondering if this surprises you. The guys put it up on the board for me. In each of Alabama's title-winning seasons under Nick Saban, his quarterbacks didn't receive a single Heisman vote.
I mean, the last two non-quarterback winners of the Heisman are both Alabama running backs. It was Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, just incredible.
That's incredible. That's the way they've built it. It's the machine going in Tuscaloosa, and it's not coming off the rails anytime soon.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Mike and Mike podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home, wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT. Home. Safe home.
Herm Edwards joining us in studio to give us the Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. As we discussed in the first segment of the show, we were in the makeup room because Lord knows you and I need some makeup here. A lot of help. Herm Edwards walked in. I'm not going to dumb this down at all. I'm not going to be good for the audience. You said he said, oh, no. Herm said, oh, hell, is really what he said. What's your concern here, Herm? And good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
What was your reaction? Or what were you thinking when you saw me and Golic Jr.?
Well, we talked about, you two guys for like 3 hours, or this could set ESPN back 100 years, but that's fine. I'm on here with you, so that doesn't do you any good.
No, that is true. Now you're in it with us,
I got a problem,
Herm.
So I might get blamed for some of this mess that's getting very
we're gonna blame most of it on you.
You can blame it on me.
You're the professional.
I'm the adult. You can blame it on me. Go ahead.
You're the adult coming over to hang out at the kids' table.
Yes. Welcome, Herm. It's much more fun over here. I promise you. Yeah.
Good to have Stugotz up here, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
Every time I see him, he has a different hair look. I mean, he makes more bets and loses more bets.
Yeah,
that is.
And it always has something to do with his hair. I can remember a while back, he bet your dad.
The donut.
He sold me donuts.
Yes.
So I'm on a radio show with him, and before the show starts, he says, "I got to ask you one question." And he says, "Can Golic really do that?" I said, "Why did you bet him?" I said, "Yeah, that's easy for him." He was going, "Oh no!" I said, "Start cutting it off right now, man. You're gonna lose this thing."
Exactly. Get a head start on it. Thankfully, like I said, you know what? We found out over the course of time, he doesn't look bad bald, though, right?
No,
like, it's actually worked out. He pulled off the Paul Feinbaum look pretty well.
Well, I didn't pull that look off well. I mean, you can't.
As you can.
No one chooses that look, Mike. Okay, I mean that's just.
Believe me, I know.
Okay, but I didn't pull it off well. What I pulled off well was right after that was the show was over. I shaved everything else off, and then it looked okay. I mean, my wife doesn't like me bald though. She does not. I like it. Everyone else seems to like it. The person that matters most in my life, Herm, does not like it. Therefore, I grow it back.
She didn't like you with the hair, though.
That's important.
She doesn't like me, period, Mike. Yeah. You know that. You've gotten the note.
That's why she sends him up here on Labor Day.
Yeah.
That is true. It's get him as far away as humanly possible so that she can have a day off. This is her day off from you. You talking about being conflicted about Labor Day.
Right.
She is thrilled.
Yes.
She couldn't love Labor Day anymore right now.
You are right. Herm, Labor Day, happy or sad? Is it a happy or sad holiday? Because I think for a lot of people, it's a sad holiday. It's the end of summer.
I think for kids.
Yeah.
It kind of messes kids up a little bit.
Yeah.
My daughters actually go to Catholic school, but they're in this swim camp, so they get half a day, so they're not even going there in the swim camp. So,
right.
But I think for kids, most part, you hate to start in school like on a Tuesday. Like, really? Tuesday?
Right, but you get a short week, first week, though.
But it's like a Tuesday. It's like, Tuesday's kind of, it's like Sunday, Monday I'm off again, and all of a sudden I got to go to school tomorrow on Tuesday, really?
That is true.
Just make it a whole week.
Start you off with a slider to start the baseball season.
Yeah, but you don't want to start on Monday, though. I'm good with it, too. I wish every school week started on Tuesday. There should be 4-day work weeks, man. I'm serious.
Hey, there's a lot of research coming out to back that up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Telling you, there is. We're talking to the wrong guy about Labor Day, though, because this week you've got Labor Day and then you've got week 1 of the NFL season.
Yes.
You've been used to most of your life getting ready to play a football game.
Yeah,
or coach a football game.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think college is taking advantage of this weekend where the National Football League's not playing. Good for college football. There was a bunch of exciting games, obviously. I don't know, sloppy games. Sloppy games.
Yeah, sloppy games. It was weird. It was kind of a weird weekend where you had a couple major upsets. The 2 big games that everyone was looking forward to were kind of boring.
Well, because, we talk about it with the NFL a lot because of the way the rules have changed in the offseason for the NFL and the amount of time you're allowed to spend around the teams. And so the first 3-4 weeks of the NFL season, especially along offensive lines where that position needs a ton of time and a ton of cohesiveness, kind of suffers. In college, you don't even get the preseason games to tune a lot of these things up. You're in a vacuum by yourself, and so you have to go out there and sort of find out on the fly in games that really matter. All right, what kind of team do we actually have?
Well, you do, and I think the same thing that really happens in college football happens in the National Football League as well. The first thing you're concerned with as a head coach is special teams. That becomes a big factor. And you saw it this weekend. It'll be the same thing in the NFL. And the next thing you're concerned about, especially in the NFL, is defense. And the fact that will you get weary as the game continues to be played out? Because you don't play with the ball. And as you know, when the season starts, you only dress anywhere between 21 and 22 defensive players. Well, if you go into this game where all of a sudden the team has 65 to 75 plays, you fatigue. Defensively, you're not in shape to play a whole game. You haven't played a whole game yet as a unit. Yep. So you worry about that. You worry about the fatigue of defenses. That was our main concern, always toward the beginning of the season. Hey, we've got to get these guys in shape because your numbers are down. That becomes a problem because you're always chasing the balls. It's easy to play offense because you know where you're going. Defense, you're always chasing, so that becomes a factor as well.
It's interesting. Alabama's defense at special teams contributed a combined 23 points to Alabama's net scoring margin in the final 30 minutes against Florida State, including 15 points as a result of turnovers.
Well, and this is the difference in the college level, too, is a lot of teams, because you've got bigger rosters in college, like in the NFL, just because of numbers, you'll see a lot of starters from your offense or defense that'll be on special teams. In college, that's not a norm. That's why you see schools like Alabama who have Minkah Fitzpatrick, their star defensive back, running it out on special teams. Damian Harris, their starting running back, blocked a punt in that game. Like, they prioritize special teams on those really good teams in a way that shows up in the stat column.
Yeah, they do, and it's kind of ironic because they lose to, what was it, Auburn? On the kick. It was a special teams play.
Right, yeah.
But no, you're right. Nick is big on special teams. I've had the privilege of going down there and watching some of his practices and visiting with the team. And, he's going to be defensively built where he's going to be very, very – he used to be very powerful up front. Now they're more athletic because of these spread offenses. So his defensive linemen are more athletic. But the back end of his players are really athletic, can run and tackle, and it shows up. It shows up every Saturday for his football team.
Herm, we were discussing in the first segment. I'm wondering, do you think because Alabama seems to be there every single year, they are there every single year, and the most impressive thing, as far as I'm concerned, about Nick Saban in this run is he's been able to do it
without a quarterback.
Without a star quarterback. But do you think that fans maybe around the country, certainly not in Tuscaloosa or in Alabama, they love this, but fans around the country, your average college football fans, is there maybe Alabama fatigue? Is it possible that Alabama is bad for college football?
Well, I don't know if it's bad. It's just they're the team that everyone wants to see get beaten. because of the fact that they win every year. They're going to be in a national championship game or bidding to be in that game. No different than Captain America up the road here, right? I mean, every year it seems we're talking about Captain America. Who's going to beat him, right? And so it's Alabama versus everyone else, and it's kind of ironic you guys mentioned that because I coached this Under Armour All-American game. Your dad helped out last year with me, and you're going to get about 10 5A athletes that are involved in this game. There's 90 of them that come. And Steve Murray, who coaches one side, I coach the other. We split them up. There's been, in 10 years, there's been 160 of these kids drafted, 30 of them first-round picks. And so some of the kids this year, O.J. Howard, Cam Robertson, well, they played for me in this game, right? And guess what? They were at Alabama. So let's say if there's 10 guys that are 5A, the best high school players rated, he's going to get about 5 of them out of the 10. Okay, so you do the numbers. In 3 years, he has 15.
Right.
So if you're another school, you might have 2 or 3, maybe 4, but he's got 15. So, the odds of you beating this guy are very difficult because in college football, a lot like pro football, you win, you draft last. College football, you win, it doesn't matter. You get to pick whoever you want.
It's make it, take it.
That's right.
You're playing make it, take it, pick up hoops. It's insane. And you look on down the list. Like, we're learning every year Alabama and Michigan and all these teams that send 10, 11 guys into the draft every year, or whatever those numbers are, you learn about a whole different set of names coming into the season, and every year it seems like they find the new – I mean, Raekwon Davis got shot in the leg before this season for Alabama. Hadn't seen him on the field much last year with the monsters that they had. That guy is 6'7", 320, had a sack in this game, got up weeks after getting shot in the leg. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here at Alabama. Bullets can't even stop that guy.
It's interesting because I heard two things kind of headed into the season, and it's why, I mean, really, we shouldn't be paying much attention. There are a lot of great people here that are doing it, yourself included, Mike Golic Jr., but the preseason analysis without seeing these teams play, because we have no idea. We're not at practice every day. These are the two things I heard. Alabama defense going to take a step back because they lost a lot of starters from last year's defense, and I heard the same exact thing about Michigan's defense, and the best defense I saw all weekend long was the Michigan defense.
Yes. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, saying they actually look faster than last year, which is kind of a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
You lose sort of your skeleton key on the back end, but listen, you knew Harbaugh was going to do that, right? This guy that we talk about out here sleeping over at recruits' house and picking them up in vans. Maybe it'll benefit somewhere.
They go to Italy. I mean, you go to Michigan, you go to Italy. You're going to be a worldwide team, right? You go everywhere.
I will say this, though. I heard Kirk Herbstreit having this conversation on College Game Day, and he's right. The committee can't be like the old AP poll, because I watched that game, meaning if there's a two-loss team that they think should be in the Final Four, that team should be in the Final Four. I watched that game, Florida and Michigan on Saturday, and I'm telling you guys, I have no idea if Michigan ultimately is going to be better than the University of Florida. I have no idea. Florida was without 10 players and 2 of their best players on offense, and they had a lead at halftime. And Herm, I have no idea. No idea after watching that game if Michigan is better than Florida.
You make a great point. I mean, you lose 10 guys. Now, kudos to the coach. But here again, I mean, you recruited those guys. I mean,
right.
You have to sit 10 of them down, and that's great because that's the only thing players understand, but that's way too many. 10 guys? I mean, 10. We're not saying 2, we're saying 10.
Now, 2 you can excuse away. You can say, kid made a mistake,
10.
something like that. 10 is systemic. 10 is you've made some concessions.
Oh, man, come on.
Right. All right, we got plenty to get to. Herm Edwards going to stick around here. Plenty of NFL news to get to, including one NFL team that I may or may not be a fan of, trading their best player over the weekend. It's Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
First time skydiving? Sure is. Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump. Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem? Tandem? That's a great idea. Are you a certified instructor? No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
Herm, you win $1 billion. What are you doing?
$1 billion?
$1 billion.
Ooh.
Like, Herm, are you still coming in here to break down NFL games?
Absolutely.
And do any of that?
Absolutely.
You are?
Yep.
Okay, with $1 billion. $1
billion.
Billy. I already said $1 billion. I'm going to be a janitor at Notre Dame.
What do you mean a janitor? Like,
I mean a janitor.
Like the guy from Rudy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be the custodian that lets that kid in Notre Dame and
give some away to charity, obviously. But,
exactly.
I'm coming to work. I'm coming to work. I'm in.
Herm, I can't imagine you doing anything else but breaking it down like this.
You got to work. Yeah, I love working.
But maybe you could buy like an NFL franchise or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not saying you have to stop working. I'm wondering if you continue to do this work. No, you love this that much?
No, I don't want to know. I don't want that headache.
Not any of the ownership. Ownership's not for you, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Golic, what am I doing if I win $1 billion?
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Have your own radio show.
Nothing.
No, I'll buy my own-
sponsor yourself.
I'll buy my own radio station.
There you go.
And then I'll just put myself on from 6A to 7P.
Sponsor
and then
yourself.
Just
come in and do hits.
And we'll rerun that at night. That's
Yes.
what we'll do. It'll just be 24/7.
Stugotz, he would. Stugotz would sponsor himself. He would sponsor his own life. Abby, his daughters, would get absolutely no. Abby would actually find a way to get everything out of it. She would take what's rightfully hers, which is all of that, because she's basically getting paid to put up with you.
Correct.
But yeah, $1 billion. Stugotz would do nothing and love it.
Are you saying that's her job, to put up with me?
Yeah, so that's a full-time job.
Totally
It's the
fair.
hardest job in the world.
Mike and Mike reminding you can watch and listen to your favorite games and shows on the ESPN app. It's simple, it's easy, and it keeps you connected. Take ESPN with you everywhere. Download the ESPN app now. Herm, my favorite team.
Oh, J-E.
TS.
Yes.
Oh, good. Come on. Your former team, Herm.
Yeah, they buckle your seatbelt. A little turbulence this year. Just a little turbulence.
I
Just a
mean,
little bit.
you know, people say they're trying to tank, and I say it's really hard to tank in the NFL because you never know. A couple bounces go your way, and all of a sudden a team that you think is going to be 0-3 starts off 2-1 or 3-0. But the trade of Sheldon Richardson over the weekend, Herm, maybe you could explain it to me, because to me it makes no sense. And it takes a Seattle defense that was already great and makes it the best defense in the NFL, and I think it makes Seattle the favorites in the NFC.
Well, yeah, I think without him, they were still going to be the favorites. But now they've got a guy that they can play maybe at that Leo position they have. 42 sacks last year by Seattle. With the Jets, he's become a little bit of a distraction. He has a little bit of a, and I don't want to say in the bad ways, but he's a little bit of a malcontent. There's always something wrong. It just seems there's all, and Todd Bowles has come out at times and say, hey, look, just let it go. You and Brandon Marshall, you got to let it go. Now, there's been other things. We don't want to get into this guy's past.
Sure.
But being a good football player, you got a good football player when he wants to play. Last year was a little bit invisible.
Right.
A little bit invisible last year.
We don't need to get into the past, but the past is part of the reason he's no longer
That's
there.
exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, I think he enters a place where personalities flourish in Seattle. Because Pete is about personality. You know, Pete did the same thing at USC, had a bunch of guys with personalities, as long as it doesn't overflow. And the locker room is unique in this sense. He'll blend right in. If you're Richardson, you're excited. You're going to a team that obviously has a chance to go to a Super Bowl. So, I mean, it works out good for him, and then at the end, I think it'll work out good for the Jets.
8 of their 11 defensive starters have made a Pro Bowl.
How about that?
That's a grab bag of five of their front 7, including in that. That's a grab bag of talent you can work with. But to Herm's point, it's boom or bust. Like when this thing's going and these guys are at the front of the pack, this thing works better than anything else. Mina Kimes, who friend of your guys' show, ESPN, the magazine senior writer, huge Seahawks fan. Got to be excited about this. Said could be the best defense the Seahawks have had in recent memory, and we know how good that Super Bowl defense was. But if it goes south, this is a group that we saw this offseason that's still dealing with some of the ramifications of that goal line pass, that still can't let some of those things go and can be combustible if things go south.
And last year, they didn't finish real well. They usually finish off games.
Yeah.
And that's not, last year it was a little bit, and they lost some guys. And when the offense is not clicking, there's a little bit grumbling in the locker room at times. So it'll be interesting. But to get Richardson on this defense, wow. If you're the back end of that defense, you're excited about having him on your team.
Herm, we have just about a minute. You're the head coach of the Cowboys. How are you handling the Zeke Elliott situation? How are you preparing in terms of the running back spot for week 1?
He's in football shape. You don't have to worry about that because he's been involved in the preseason, not like Bell in Pittsburgh. So I just think that you're giving him some limited reps and saying, okay, if he's available, he's available. If not, we're going the other direction. I say that's all you can do. And you got to – in my mind, when this thing was taking place, as a coach, I already thought he's not going to be available. Going into the open season, I said he's not going to be available. That was in my mind, okay? When this investigation kept lingering, I said this is not good. So I think that's got to be the mindset of the Cowboys.
All right. Herm, we appreciate it, man.
Pleasure's all mine. You only got, 3 more hours? You're good?
Only 3 more hours.
Only got 3 more hours. 18 more months until Game of Thrones is back, Herm.
Oh, stop it. Maybe they'll get me back by – they need to write me an apology letter.
They do. They owe you.
They do. They owe me an apology. But I don't know they owe me an apology. What did I tell you was going to happen?
Yep.
That guy's got the dragon, Herm.
If you care enough about the show, you watch it live. All right, coming up next, something we think is funny, our producers don't. You'll be the judge.
First time skydiving! great idea!
Are you a certified instructor?
No, but I love parachutes and I love people! Here we go!
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT. Home. Safe home. Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling that you're safe to enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, we help keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling for less than $1 a day. ADT. Home. Safe home.
It is Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Phil Steele going to join us there in just a minute. ESPN College Football Insider. He'll join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. You can tweet us anytime through the 1-800-Flowers.com Twitter feed. It is at Stugotz790, at M. Golic Jr. 57. We have a couple of polls working this morning. One of them is, based off a tweet we got earlier today, is Stugotz on the rise at ESPN? Mike, what's some of the feedback you're getting on that poll question?
So far, it's not so good, Stugotz.
Yeah.
Not so good.
What's going on there?
Tweeter tweets in that you are one wiener that is never on the rise.
Okay.
So, not sure what we're supposed to do with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny, though.
No, hey,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yes.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
We need more feedback like that. Yeah. Coming up next, Abby's going to call in at 7:30.
I mean, can you be on the rise in anything when you're 45 years old? Can you actually be on the rise when you're 40? I'm 45 years old. I have 2 kids. I'm married. Like, Hembo, I don't know. Can you be on the rise when you're 45 years old?
Tom Brady thinks so, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, Tom Brady's figured out how to be
But
on
Tom
the rise.
Brady's not 45, though.
Saying in 5 years he won't. 5 years he could not be on the rise.
Are you maintaining, Hembo, that Tom Brady is still on the ascent? His career is still...
Clearly.
Me. How old is Tom Brady? He's 40. He's going to be 40, right? So he's not 45. And I will tell you this, 45 feels a whole lot worse than 40 does, all right? All right, Tom, enjoy the next 5 years because 45, after that, it's all downhill. But so are we saying that Tom Brady is still on the rise? Is that what we're doing here?
Put that in the polls. Tom Brady on the rise.
All right, put it on the poll. Is Tom Brady on the rise?
Wow, early results. Stugotz decidedly not on the rise.
Well, I don't think I can be on the rise when I'm 45 years old. You're on the rise. Now put that on the poll. Is Mike Golic Jr. on the rise at ESPN? No, it's going to go well.
Yeah.
How old are you?
28.
You're 28. You are on the rise. You're the definition of on the rise.
Sounds like you're
Mike Golic Jr. You're going to be doing an hour a day every day with your dad and Trey Wingo in a couple of months. Is that news to... Am I breaking news here on the show?
You would have been breaking news.
Are people aware of that? Do people know your dad and Mike Greenberg are no longer going to be working together?
No, yeah.
I just want to make sure.
No, driving that home?
Yeah, we probably should have taught this out before we went on live radio and national TV here, but are people aware of that fact?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, people are aware of this. I mean, they're more aware now, like you've said it very explicitly in a way that may not have been stated that directly before or that bluntly, but...
Do they know who is replacing Mike Greenberg? Do they know that Hal Wingo is replacing Mike Greenberg?
Yeah, no, he's it's been like the worst kept secret around here for a while. They've sort of played with that idea fast and loose, but yeah.
Okay.
Hanging with Hal.
And are they aware that you're going to be doing an hour every day? You should be doing all 4 hours, but I mean, I don't make the decisions around it.
I'll probably sneak in there. I mean, they'll technically be getting 3 hours for free, but whatever you want to do. I'll hang out there for an hour.
And you have your show that starts at 3:30 in the morning.
You know what? I'm proud of you. So Stugotz, you and I have been doing a weekend show, Weekend Observation, 7 to 9 a.m. on Sundays for
you, man.
for about it'll be a year this fall.
Yeah.
And it took you probably the first 6 months of that to learn my Twitter handle, and I'm proud of you for doing that. And what's happened in the interim is Stugotz will reference at times that I do a show during the week Never references the time because he doesn't know it and he's not up then. Never references the name of the show because he has definitely no idea what the name of the show is. And so we get here now and we're reading tweets about people being on the rise, and we're reading tweets about you being on the rise, and you bring up the idea that someone said you should have your own show, and you said I do.
Right.
And someone said that about me, and you said, oh, you should too, forgetting that I actually have the show that leads into this show. I shouldn't say forgetting because you never knew to begin with.
Right. Well, no, I didn't. Congratulations to you again.
Thanks, man. No, it was a big day when it happened April of last year.
And it's debatable whether or not I have my own show. I mean, that thing is Le Batard's show, right? I'm just along for the ride.
You're with
I don't really
with
think
Stugotz,
I have.
Though. You're in the
yeah,
title.
but you know what? See, Mike and Mike makes it feel like it's a 50-50 partnership. Le Batard with Stugotz makes me feel like a little pinky toe, like a hangnail on the pinky toe that's just kind of hanging off to the side. You know, being I'm a human pinata. I'm a laugh track, essentially, for Le Batard is what I am. It doesn't feel like a 50-50 proposition. It feels like it's Dan's show, and I'm just kind of there, and I'm along for the ride.
Do you want to rename the weekend show Stugotz's Weekend Observations with Mike Golic Jr. so you can can you get that ego boost?
Yes,
can we do that for you?
Yes,
can we actually petition for that? Louise, our programming director on the weekend.
Yes.
I don't know if she's the one with the power to do this.
You're willing, because you're such a good friend of mine. We're like family now, right? I'm part of the family.
Well, you ate the picture. You're in the family.
Picture. I call your dad. I actually call him Dad.
Yeah, no, it's getting weird, but
it is. And I call Mom. And when I call up Jake, I say, "Hey, bro, what's up?"
Yep.
I don't call Sid because you told me.
Yeah, no,
bad, evil things.
Don't do that.
So I don't call her ever. She tweets at me occasionally. I say, "What's up, sis?"
Yeah, no, it's a safe distance for you to keep from her.
But are you saying that's something you would do for me, where you would be willing to call it, instead of Weekend Observations, it would be the Stugotz Show with Mike Golic Jr.?
I'm willing to make that concession for you because I can tell you need this.
My ego needs it.
Yeah, listen, I'm not above stroking your ego at this point because, listen, there are certain benefits of that to me that I won't hide at all. I understand. I learned how to play this game from the best.
Yes, you have.
So I'm willing to make that concession for you.
I love you.
Get along the way.
All right. Phil Steele joining us right now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get instant gold status at Shell. Join the Fuel Rewards program now at fuelrewards.com/gold. Phil, good morning. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Full weekend of college football, so we're rolling. And now this week, another big week, and of course the NFL starts as well.
I would say that Phil Steele is on the rise, by the way.
Yeah.
Phil Steele, technically like a new colleague of ours here now. College Football Magazine is the Bible for people in this industry getting ready for things. Phil, would you say you're on the rise?
Yeah, possibly. We'll see how it goes, but enjoying the run.
All right, put it on the poll. Is Phil Steele on the rise here at ESPN, at Mike and Mike, all right? Hembo, get that up there. Is Phil Steele on the rise here at ESPN?
Hembo does not run the polls.
He does that. Who runs the polls around here? Patrick, put that up on the poll, all right? Patrick, can you talk to me or no? You can't talk. Does anyone have an open mic in this place besides me and Mike Golic Jr.?
Phil does.
Phil does. Go ahead.
Phil's with us on the Shell Pennzoil. All right, Phil, football questions. Big opening weekend. Alabama cruises to a win over Florida State. It really evenly matched for most of the game, though. Is there any concern for you? Alabama, a couple of key injuries at linebacker coming out of this weekend.
Yeah, the injuries at linebacker probably are going to affect them a little bit, but this is a very deep team. I mean, they've got, coming into the season, you looked at some of the third stringers, you said, wow, these guys are going to play in the NFL. And I was overall very impressed with the Alabama defense. And when you look at the final score of that game against Florida State, I mean, Florida State actually turned the ball over 4 times in 5 plays. We're talking about the block punt by starting running back Harris, by the way, and then the fumble at the goal line, and then DeAndre Francois, who had not had a multiple interception game all season last year, throws back-to-back interceptions. So in a span of 5 plays, they turned it over 4 times. I thought Florida State's defense played excellent just to keep them within the final score that it was. But overall, I thought the two teams were fairly evenly matched, but no team's going to overcome 4 turnovers in 5 plays.
Phil, wondering what you think about this. I was saying earlier, we were discussing it with Herm Edwards. I watched that Gator-Michigan game, and the Gators without 10 players, 2 of their best offensive players. They had a lead at halftime. It's a game they easily could have won. Michigan gets a late touchdown. I have no idea, based on that game, Phil, if Michigan is better than the University of Florida. No idea. What are your thoughts there?
I watched the line of scrimmage, and I liked Michigan's offensive line and defensive line, the way they were controlling the line of scrimmage for the most part, especially the defensive line. against that Florida offensive line, which we thought was going to be improved. But, I mean, you're right. We did not see Florida. And by that first reaction, you're going to say, wow, Florida's not a very good football team. But they were missing 10 guys. What other team can you take your top running back, top receiver, bunch of players off the defensive line, offensive line, and see what they do? I think we'll know at the end of the year whether or not Florida is a much better team. But I was impressed with Michigan's defense. That's for sure. They, coming in, they did only have one returning starter, but they had a lot of players with experience coming back. I thought overall, though, they controlled the line of scrimmage.
Talking to Phil Steele on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Phil, is there anything that impressed you about Texas this weekend, who allowed Maryland to score the most points it had ever scored against an AP top 25 opponent?
No, I mean, they put some points up at 41, but even then they had a blocked field goal for a touchdown in the game. And overall, I thought Texas just blew it at home. And, you look at the talent that they have, Mike, at the defensive line and in the secondary, and these guys look good getting off the bus. They just don't look very good playing on the field. And I thought that the change of coaches, we might see those guys live up to their potential, but it sure didn't happen against the Maryland team. And Maryland's not a team that's going to be contending for the Big Ten title this year, so that's not a good look at the start of the season. I think you'll see Texas improve. Maybe they were believing too much in themselves. They were a 3-touchdown favorite coming in, but that was a poor performance by the Longhorns.
Phil still with us here on ESPN Radio, Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. Phil, just going back to Alabama for just a second, we were discussing earlier, is Alabama, I feel like, I know I'm starting to get it. I'm wondering how you feel about this. I feel like Alabama, they're starting to become some, Alabama fatigue. I think it's a foregone conclusion. Every year they're going to be, at the very least, in the Final Four. Do you think there is Alabama fatigue? Do you think Alabama's bad for college football?
I think that a lot of folks around the country, just sort of like the SEC fatigue that we had for a while there, where, it was just the SEC, they're the top conference, and now, I mean, we're seeing some other conferences step in. The Big Ten had a huge opening week. The Pac-12 had a huge opening week. And so I think that's helping college football and the fact there's a little bit more balance. I think if Alabama is absolutely dominant every year and wins like 4 out of 5 national championships, yes, that fatigue would set in. But after last year losing the title, and I think there's some primetime contenders this year, I don't think we've reached that point yet, but we're nearing it if they were to run the table again this year.
How much stock should we put in what we saw in that fourth quarter last night from Josh Rosen? Is that going to end up being something that's an outlier, just a freakish set of circumstances, or is this, seeing that potential come to fruition of who we saw his freshman year?
Well, I think overall last night I came out of there thinking Texas A&M was the better team. I thought UCLA got some, fortunate plays in the game at the end. They converted on fourth down a bunch of times. Chances you wouldn't normally take in a half, going for it on 4th and 6, 4th and 5. But overall, Josh Rosen is a guy who, if he gets that off-the-field stuff corrected, I don't think there's an NFL scout out there who won't tell you Josh Rosen, talent-wise, is one of the top quarterbacks coming out for the draft next year. And if he gets that off-field stuff corrected, he'll be in good shape. But that was a tough loss for Texas A&M, leading 44-10 late in the third quarter.
Any concerns with USC? Won the game, got off to a sluggish start. Any concerns out there, Phil?
No, I don't have any concerns in that. It was a lot closer than the final score. They only led by one score with about 5 minutes left in the game, but that's going to happen when you're a big 3-touchdown favorite and you got Stanford on deck. We're going to learn about USC this week. Stanford's a very good football team. They're strong at the line of scrimmage. They've my number 2 linebacking core in the country. They've got a whole bunch of tight ends that, they go 5-6 deep at tight end, and they've got a solid quarterback in Keller Christ. That's going to be one of the best games in college football this weekend.
Phil, looking towards next weekend, a lot of big games coming up on the schedule. Selfishly, for me, I'm looking at Georgia and Notre Dame and wondering what could Georgia look like if Jacob Eason's not ready to go.
Well, we pretty much saw it last week against App State. Jacob Eason started the game, played 2 series. They did not get a first down. Off the bench comes Fromm. And, while Fromm is a freshman quarterback, in the spring there was a legitimate battle between Fromm and Eason. So there's some Georgia fans who wanted Fromm to win the starting job, and he led them to 3 touchdowns in the first half against App State and basically quarterbacked the entire game. Now Fromm is in there at QB, where a lot of fans said that. Remember, last year Eason had one of the lowest pass percentages and deep throws down down the field, completed about 18% of them. So I think whether it's Fromm or whether it's Easton, we pretty much saw the Fromm offense last week, and I think they'll be in the same shape at QB. But Notre Dame's a much improved team. I like what I saw of them last week.
But you think Georgia's going to blow them out, right? Say it, Phil.
No, actually, Notre Dame's the number one most improved team in the country this year. Last year they were 4-8, but actually they outgained their opponents by 39 yards per game, outscored them by 3 points per game. They go from basically 8 returning starters and a secondary they got wiped out to 15 returning starters this year. I like the changes of coordinator on the defensive side of the ball with Elko, and I think offensively they look pretty good. That's going to be a great game. I like the Irish to win a close one. I think it's going to be a very interesting game.
All right, well, let me tell you, Phil, you were on the rise until you didn't give me the answer that I wanted there.
No.
And Golic, why are you dancing?
Oh, sorry.
In your chair? Well, it's okay. You were on the rise. I'm going to vote no now for you. But Golic, why are you dancing in your chair? Why? Why are you dancing in your chair?
I've realized that Notre Dame is on the rise. Like, they fit perfectly into the theme of the show this morning. Right. They are Phil Steele's number one surprise team. They are quite literally the team on the rise.
All right, you realize Phil could be wrong, though, right?
No, he's not wrong.
Okay. Okay. Well,
you read the magazine?
That ends that argument. I mean, yes, I've read the magazine, but Phil,
has Stugotz actually read the magazine?
I just
lied.
That on the Phil, I never read the magazine. You don't even need to put it on the poll. I lied, Phil. I apologize, but Phil, admit to me. I tell Mike Golic, you have been wrong before, right?
Absolutely, and first week of the season. Granted, they were down 10 starters, but I had Florida over Michigan the first week of the season, and unfortunately, it seemed like every day you check the reports, Florida was losing another starter. I'm like, boy, that doesn't look very good anymore. But yeah, definitely been wrong before. Absolutely.
All right, now you get a yes vote from me. Congratulations, Phil. We appreciate the time this morning.
Hey, a lot of fun talking football with you guys.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right, Mike and Mike is presented by Progressive Insurance. Creators of the Name Your Price tool, choose from a range of coverage options and pick the price that works for you. Mike, did you watch the LSU game at all over the weekend?
Did I? It was amazing.
Was it really?
Matt Canada, new offensive coordinator.
It was a 27-0 game. What was so amazing?
Nothing's changing there.
Right. Brooks, do you have the sound back there? I wish you guys had opened my. Okay, you have actual Orgeron? Okay. Okay. All right. But hold on a second. I just want to say this, okay? Because I know, I've been texting back and forth with a high-level executive here at ESPN and ESPN Radio.
Humble brag.
Who I love to death, all right?
Congrats.
And he loves us and he loves the show.
Must be nice.
The fact that you guys don't have open mics is irritating. It is agitating. It is not right. Stanzik is a funny guy. And Stanzik, I can't even see him. I have no idea where he is, let alone the fact that he does not have an open microphone. He needs to have an open mic. Brooks, who is also funny, needs to have an open microphone. Hembo should be able to talk on the air whenever he feels like it. Travis over here, same thing. You guys should have open microphones, and you should have the ability to talk on the show because you might lend something funny, you might lend something serious, a nice little nugget to the show that Mike and I need. That's what this show needs. I'm telling you, whoever is in charge of the show moving forward, and I believe it to be Hal Wingo, he needs to make sure that everyone here has an open microphone. Period. End of discussion. Because there are some funny, talented people working on this show, and they don't have a voice, and it drives me nuts.
Travis shouldn't have a voice.
That's a good point. I got carried away.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was cool with it to an extent. Stanzik, the rest of those guys, they're great. They're awesome. But
yes,
look at, Travis. No, don't do it.
Travis, do not turn that microphone.
Don't you go over there.
Travis, I want you in the room where I can't see you, and I want Stanzik out here, and I want Stanzik to have the ability to talk.
Can we make
Am I on the rise?
We'll put that on the poll. Is Travis on the rise? Yeah.
We should see if we can negotiate a trade between the back room and right there.
Yes.
We can trade Stanzik for Travis.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah, we'll rotate. Yes. We'll rotate. We'll meet the cast for the rest of the show.
I'm telling you, I'm being serious here. I'm not certain there's a funnier, more talented person at the entire network than Stanzik. I'm saying he's a funny guy, and yet he doesn't have a voice, and it drives me crazy.
So is he as funny as Phil Steele's book was insightful and knowledgeable? Because I feel like I'm being told the same level of truth in both these things.
No, I'm telling you, Stanzik's funny. Listen, I lie when it comes to reading. I don't lie when it comes to funny. All right, I'll tell you, Stanzik's the funny.
You do lie when it comes to reading.
I do lie often when it comes to reading. All right, here is. Have you heard the sound, by the way?
So I have not heard this sound yet. Okay. I'm really excited because I know we were texting about this last night.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. All right, so here is the actual voice of LSU head coach, new LSU head coach Ed Orgeron.
Their tough defense is hard to run the ball against them. They're playing tough coverage on us. We have to protect the quarterback, take care of the football down here. It's going to be a tough game.
All right, so that is the actual voice of the LSU head coach Ed Orgeron, who I maintain no one's voice in college football matches the team and the city that he coaches for better than Ed Orgeron, right? That's what the LSU coach should sound like, right?
I don't even know if there's a close second.
Right.
I can't even think of number 2 on that list.
Yes, right. But the voice matches the area.
Well, I mean, it's literally like they plucked him out of the water boy.
Correct. So I'm happy about this. This makes me happy because Dan and I are always talking about on our show, Dan Le Batard Show, 10 to 1, Monday through Friday. You know what my show is, right? You know the name of it?
Yeah, I've been there.
Okay. 10 to 1 Eastern. We're on the rise. And
by the way, just a side note of that, I remember you telling me when I was hosting on First and Last, the show that you've acknowledged, and said on multiple occasions that you would get up at 5 a.m. to come on with me, that you were just going to dial in some mornings on your ISDN line and come and co-host the show with me. 6 months ago, started saying that. Said, I'm serious. I'm going to do it.
Yep.
How'd that go?
I lied.
Okay.
Haven't done it once.
Not once. I mean.
But this week.
Oh, yeah, no, pencil you in for Thursday.
I promise you. So you have the Ed Orgeron voice. Dan and I are always talking about how play-by-play, okay, there needs to be advancements. We need to take more chances. We need to have more fun. We need to put different people in the booth. Just let them talk. Let them just have fun. So this is what happens now at ESPN when you're calling a 27-0 game, an LSU game. What happens now, Mike, is the broadcast crew, they steal ideas from the Le Batard Show.
Well, first of all, there's no pocket square. You know the best play football in there, bro, don't you? That fumble, play football in there, bro.
Darius guys, go to the movies with Darius, and he's sitting next to me and my wife, and I can't get a word in there. I can't watch the movie because Darius just keep on talking.
All right, guys, here we go. We're going to have one team, one heartbeat. All right, now we're going to play for each other. We're going to have each other's back. We're going to win this ball game. One team, one heartbeat. Here we go. Go Tigers.
God, I hope he didn't hear that. He was awfully close for that.
I think he's got other things on his mind.
Allison, you got some Cajun in you? That was amazing.
It's more about the gravel in the voice, right?
Gotta get real low. One team, one heartbeat, guys. That's how we're going to win this ball game.
Now, Allison Williams, I must say, it was Bob Wischusen, who is fantastic, and I've known Bob for a very long time. Who was the guy doing, who was the analyst there? Oh, okay, that was Brock Eward. Allison Williams, who's a friend of mine, she's from South Florida. She did the best imitation. I mean, by far.
By far. You could see it actually. I don't even know if it was timed well enough, but for people who saw the video, right as her impression finished, there was a wry little smile on Ed Orgeron's face on the sideline like he knew.
Yes.
Like he felt it somewhere deep inside him.
Yes.
Allison women are doing a great day. We're going to go Tiger.
You do a pretty good one.
Yeah, I know.
And listen, Hembo, you got one inside of you? You got one? Come on, Hembo, you don't have an imitation? Hembo.
I feel like
Get Stanzik in here now.
I feel like Ed Orgeron's the one guy that everyone can impersonate.
Right.
Because it really doesn't require a lot. You don't have to come up with material because the material's not going to get heard. You just have to have enough. Like you could got a Stugotz. I'm from South Beach. Going to go to Stugotz. Got to get one heartbeat. Go Tiger.
All right, Hembo, give it a try. Come on, Hembo. Hembo, go. Hembo, go. Hembo, go.
That was actually pretty terrible.
I want to play it again. For the radio audience, I want to play it again. For the radio audience, I know Allison Williams said this, but she is doing this. I mean, she's probably 5 yards away from Ed Orgeron, right? Who's coaching the game? Maybe less.
Oh, maybe less. Like I believe she was genuine when she didn't realize how close he was, that she was just mocking him.
Correct. This is how. I mean, I'm
actually,
telling
I don't know
you,
if it's mocking.
It's
done out of love.
Yes, I want more of this.
Except for Hembo's.
Mike, do you want more of this in your broadcast? Like 27-0, LSU's up, the game's kind of boring, and the announcers just decide to take some chances, and it turns out to be very, very funny. I want more of it.
Stugotz, I thought about this the other day when all that stuff was coming down about Ed Cunningham and him leaving the broadcast booth and his position because he was conflicted about head injuries. Part of the things he said is he felt sort of strapped in by the structure of the broadcast booth. He said you're sort of at the mercy of the structure of that booth. And I thought about what you and I had talked about, where there needs to be less of that structure. Like, let Ed Cunningham come out here and say his piece about head injuries and the thing he says. Let us do impressions of Ed Orgeron in the booth freely without, any sort of pause.
Yep. And speaking of structure, the structure of this show will not allow those guys to play that sound again, even though I want them to, because this show is so structured, and I don't like structure. But coming up next, something that Mike and I think is very, very funny. Our producers don't. You'll be the judge.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for Mike and Mike podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Whether you're at home, your business, or online, ADT helps keep you safe. With security systems, home automation, alarms, and surveillance, so you can feel at home wherever you are. Go to ADT.com to get that feeling. ADT. Home. Safe home.
It is Mike and Mike here on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Albert Breer going to be there in a half hour, 8:05 Eastern. We'll have Booger McFarland at 9:05. We'll get to what game is it that we're playing here coming up, Mike? Is it over-under? Is it next question? Because I love Mike and Mike. What I love about Mike and Mike is they play it's just the same game, 3 different ways with different titles. It's true or false. It's fill in the blank. It's off the top. It's really just the same game. I'm peeling back the curtain here, and I'm letting you see what goes on in Mike and Mike. They're all the same game.
It's because the money coming in is all green.
Yeah.
Mike and Mike.
Yes.
On the rise?
Yes. Yeah.
Printing
Put it on the poll. Are Mike and Mike on the rise?
Printing money.
Yeah. Put it on the poll, please. Are Mike and Mike on the rise? At Mike and Mike on Twitter. Is Mike Golic Jr. on the rise? 57% of the audience says yes. You are on the rise.
I voted no.
Okay. So did I. Is Tom Brady on the rise? That's a funny question. 59% of the audience said no.
I disagree with that. I think Tom Brady's always on the rise.
It's debatable.
I think he's been on the rise. He hasn't stopped rising yet.
Yes, it's right. He's still rising.
He's still rising.
Yes. At some point, he's going to go the other way, right?
That's kind of the debate we're talking about.
Do you think when I'm dead, long after I'm dead, Tom Brady will still be throwing for 45 touchdowns and winning Super Bowls?
Somewhere, maybe not in the NFL, but somewhere.
I'll tell you as a Jet fan, just get out of my life. Just get out of my life, please. Does Labor Day weekend make you happy or sad? 61% of the audience said happy.
Wow.
Makes me sad. You know what? What it is? That's parents voting because their kids are going back to school. That's it.
That's why I figured it would make you happy.
Yeah, your kids have been home for 2 weeks. No. My kids are already back at school in South Florida. They've been back for a while. Yeah, so I've been happy for a while.
So this today doesn't do anything.
These are parents who picked up their kids from camp 2 weeks ago. They're already sick of their kids, and now they want them to go back to school. So those are the people who are voting. It's a happy day for them. They get a Monday off, and their kids tomorrow going back to school. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Labor Day means you have to actually come back to work soon because it is the fall, and so it is thus a sad time for you.
Is Stugotz on the rise? 60% of the audience said no. That's where I like it. That's where I want to be.
Hey,
right there.
listen, I was going to say, I don't like, please, if I can skew the vote at all, I don't like this.
Right. Okay.
Because if I'm on the rise, that means people are going to start expecting things from me. And a long time ago, you told me that this is all about managing expectations. Right. And I really need to keep those low. Dad's great. Keep expecting a lot out of him. He's been doing this a long time. He's a professional. Just keep looking at me as the nepotism case. Put me over in my corner here, and I'll be happy to thrive in my own little world.
Okay, listen, man. I love you. I don't care about the nepotism stuff. You get here how you get here. Everyone has their own path, and your path is through your dad. And I'm good with that. I'm fine with that,
It's a great path.
Yeah, it's a great path. I mean, listen, you never had to do some of the stuff that all these guys are doing here that I had to do. Yep. Overnight board hopping and all that stuff. You never had to do it, but who cares, man? You get here how you get here, and that's it. I mean, I always say the lazy river, you let the river take you where it takes you. You just let life take you where it takes you. And your life is taking you right here because your dad's a big star.
Yep. No, listen, the lazy river took me directly to the walk-up pool bar.
Yep. Congratulations to you. We're going to do our next question in a second. Hembo's going to read us the questions. We're going to give our answers here. But, Hembo, what happened to you in the cafeteria? You went to get some oatmeal, and what'd you get?
We had a breakfast snafu this morning.
Yeah, what happened?
So every morning,
yes,
one of the perks of working on Mike and Mike, free breakfast provided to the staff. An enormous luxury.
Mm-hmm. They bring it over on a cart, too.
Correct.
They have to go nowhere for this.
And it's warm.
Wow.
And I every day get warm oatmeal with raisins. This morning, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bowl of marinara sauce.
It is a bowl of cold marinara sauce.
Are there raisins in it?
They put the raisins on the side.
They did. Oh, so nothing like marinara sauce with a side of raisins.
That's what I always say.
Put it on the poll. Is there nothing like marinara sauce with a side of raisins? Put that on the poll.
I get it. It's the holiday crew,
Yeah.
and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but this is probably not going to go eat
Hembo,
unless you guys would like.
how much money do I have to give you from my wallet for you to put the raisins in the marinara sauce and eat like a quarter of that bowl?
I'll do it for $20.
All right, I'll pay. I'll gladly pay
$20.
$20.
I'm not doing next question until you do it. I'll throw in 20, and we're not doing next question, which is your time to shine. Okay.
Yeah, this is you.
Yeah, this is your time to shine. But
so raisins in the cold marinara sauce for $20.
Hold on, let's establish this. And by the way, the thing that Mike and I think is funny that our producers don't, we'll do that at 8:30 because we weren't prepared for it.
Yep. In no way.
I'm just telling you.
We botched it all.
No one was.
It was
prepared
so
for
bad.
I want to make clear what the stakes are here.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
We need a minimum number of raisins consumed in all of this. By
Okay.
the way.
So $20 from you.
Yes.
$20 from me. He has to start doing it. Travis, are you throwing in $20? Oh, he's throwing in $5. Okay.
All right. We got another
All
$5.
right,
That's $45.
$45. None from the control room. Stanzik says nothing. He wants to get to next question already. Brooks is furious with me. Everyone is furious.
It's chaos.
Yes. We might not be invited back. In fact, did someone on Twitter kind of suggest that to us?
Yeah, at John Adelon says, having run a radio station, Mike and Mike with Golic Jr. and Stugotz is hilarious. Might not get invited back, but that's not important.
Well, we don't care. But today we're hilarious, and I take that back. I do care. I want to be invited back here.
Oh, yeah.
I love doing this show.
This is the dream. This is you getting to drive the ship.
Yeah, this is the dream.
Mike and Mike, you come in, you get to sit in the chair. How's it feel, by the way?
Feels great.
You did a lot of adjusting in the chair. You made yourself taller today.
I did, yeah, because I look back. You and I have done this before. I look back and I looked very tiny next to you, and I needed to raise the chair. I mean, you're a lot taller than I am, but everyone's a lot taller than I am.
Yeah, no, I mean, blaming the chair for your posture is an interesting way to go about it, but.
All right. Well, okay. We need to establish this. This is very important.
Yeah, back to the important.
Because now the show's been completely derailed, and that's where I like to be. I like it to be derailed. I like us to have no idea what's going to happen next. Hembo, we have $45 for you to eat the tomato sauce with a side of raisins. Now, you're going to dump the raisins in there.
You have to eat all the raisins.
Okay? You have to dump the raisins
Probably
in there.
about 3 dozen raisins in this cup.
Okay. Do we want to tease this? Do you want to do it right now? You have 40 because I'm telling you, I don't care. I'll sit here till 10. I'll sit here till tomorrow. Okay? I'm not doing next question until you eat all of your breakfast.
All right, let's tease it.
You want to
We'll
tease
come
it?
back with the guidelines, and then I'll go.
All right. You excited?
I am excited. I want to see him eat all the raisins out of the marinara sauce, and I like the fact that it's marinara sauce, and that's bad enough, but he threw in there that it's actually cold compared to the warm oatmeal he's used to. that is somehow a factor in all of this. The heat of the marinara sauce is offensive to Hembo through everything else.
All right, coming up next, we'll see if we get to next question and if Hembo eats the marinara sauce with a side of raisins.
First time skydiving?
Sure is.
Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump.
Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem?
Tandem? That's a great idea.
Are you a certified instructor?
No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
All right, it is Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All guests appear on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Albert Breer going to be there. Talk some NFL with him coming up at 8:05 Eastern. All right, Golic, here's the deal. So, Hembo went to get his traditional normal breakfast, and what is it, oatmeal with raisins? And he asked for oatmeal with raisins, which is what he asked for every single day.
Every day. He's consistent.
They handed him what he thought was a cup of oatmeal with the raisins on the side. When he got back here, he opened it up, and it was a cup of tomato sauce. Was it hot? Is it hot at least?
No.
It was cold.
It was cold, okay.
Cold.
But he did get the raisins.
They got that. You know what? Like, baseball-wise, they're doing pretty well.
Yes. Hall
of
Fame well.
That's a Hall of Fame breakfast order from the Calf.
I mean, a 500 average, right?
Well, I mean, 2 out of 3.
Well, no, I had 1 out of 2.
They got the raisins.
Right.
But it's not hot.
Okay.
And it's not oatmeal.
Okay, 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Still.
Okay, still, yes.
1 out of 3.
Yes. That's a Hall of Fame
That's
career.
Still a Hall of Famer. I'm proud of them.
That is a Hall of Fame
I look
career.
forward to the bust of the cafeteria.
So we're going to do next question here.
You seen the Calf, by the way?
I haven't yet.
Man.
You and I after?
Me and Hank Azaria. Tell you all about the Calf.
Yeah, congratulations to you. Won your first ever Suey Award in the Levitard.
It's a big day.
For the worst story ever told on our show. I mean, Mike built up this big story about him and Hank Azaria in the cafeteria, and we threw it to him, and his story was, I met Hank Azaria in the cafeteria.
I mean, we all know how great the caf is around here. I asked Hank, I was like, Hank, have you seen the cafeteria? And he's like, no.
All right, so you and I at the cafeteria after the show.
No doubt.
I want to see this play. All right, so we have money on the line. Hembo's going to pour the raisins into the tomato sauce. He's going to eat it while we're doing next question, okay? He has to finish it
go ahead,
by
Mike.
the end of next question. The entire staff wants to throw up in here. But, Mike, hold on. You pledged $20.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need your $20.
You're going to have to spot me. I don't carry cash.
Okay. Mike Golic Jr. is the Stugotz of the day. Offers $20, does not have $20 to put in. I will put in $20 right now. I'll put in your $20 for you. Travis has put in $5. I'm going to cover everyone here, okay?
I just looked at my wallet and I don't have my credit card.
Well, you don't have cash, and here's my problem, because I am way past being on the rise. I've made it here at ESPN. All I have is hundreds, okay?
Wow.
That's all I have. That's all I have. 1, 2, 3. I just hundreds, okay? I'm going to put $100 down, okay? Hembo,
must be
you
nice.
finish all of this. The raisins, you owe me 20. Travis, you owe me 5. Don't think I forget, okay? When it comes to money, I don't forget a thing.
Yeah, wait, you just said you were going to cover all of it. Now we owe you? I thought you got it like that.
I'm going to cover you till the end of the show. $100 now, Hembo. You have to finish. I'm covering everyone here on the show. You have to finish.
Until after when we have to pay you back.
You have to finish this before the end of next question, which we're going to do right now, and it's brought to you by Indeed.com. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site. It's Indeed.com.
We're going to have to post Hembo's job on here because there's a good chance he doesn't make it through this.
Hembo, you ask the questions, and while we're answering them, you eat your delicious breakfast of
These are
tomato sauce with
Let's
raisins.
get started.
Essentially marinara covered raisins.
All right, go ahead.
Over under half a loss for Alabama this season.
Mike, go ahead.
Over. Alabama always loses one game this season. It's just never before it matters. They get to the college football playoff, and they'll probably win it this year.
I'm with you. I'm gonna say over here. They'll lose a game along the way here, but they'll still make the Final Four. They'll still find themselves playing for another national championship.
Oh, my God.
Next question, Hembo.
Ball.
The worst loss in college football this weekend was blank.
Whew. Couple of them, Mike. Couple of bad ones.
I got to give it. I mean, Texas A&M coming in late because I didn't think anything was going to top UNLV this weekend. Didn't think it was even going to be close. Texas A&M just absolutely gacked that one away, and I don't even think it's close for second anymore. Josh Rosen, you're welcome, haters. By the way,
did you?
You're welcome.
Did UNLV lose to Howard? Was it Howard University? And Cam Newton's younger brother?
Yeah, Cam Newton's younger brother, the largest. What was it? The largest underdog.
Yes,
Vegas history.
I'm going to say that was the worst loss, only because UNLV paid that school $600,000, over $500,000, to come out to Las Vegas and play that game. UNLV paid $600,000 to lose a football game. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, Texas A&M might pay millions of dollars to lose their coach soon.
That's a good point. Next question.
More impressive, UCLA's 34-point comeback versus A&M or Howard's win over UNLV.
Oh. We just
see that. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Whoa.
All right, we answered that already. Next question.
Over under 61.5 homers for Giancarlo Stanton this season, currently on pace for 62.
You know what? I'll tell you, it better be over because if you're going to be Giancarlo Stanton and come out, and I know Giancarlo Stanton, very nice guy, but if you're going to come out and say that you believe that 61 is the record and you're going to discount all the steroid era guys and talk about it, you better damn sure get to 62 then. Or else it's going to be real awkward for everyone involved. And when I say everyone involved, I mean Giancarlo Stanton.
All right. How do you know Giancarlo Stanton? I mean, I live in Miami. I don't know Giancarlo Stanton. How do you know Giancarlo Stanton?
Giancarlo Stanton was a high school teammate. He was a tight end in football and went to Notre Dame High School in California with Dane Christ, who was a quarterback at Notre Dame and was my roommate. Mm-hmm. And so Mike came out and played the Cubs one summer when we were in school. We went out, got to see him play. That was back when he was still Mike.
Yeah.
He was Mike Stanton at that point. I know Mike. I don't know Giancarlo.
A lot of names you dropped there on the floor there, Golic.
Yeah, listen, you know what? You drop hundreds, I drop names. That's how we get down around here.
Okay.
Hembo just drops more marinara raisins in
parlay those names into a pocket full of $100 bills.
That's the key.
All right, Hembo, how are you doing on your breakfast?
We're doing okay. I'm about 2/3 of the way there.
Right,
We've got 2 questions left and about a minute left in the segment.
All right, go ahead. Next
I'm
question.
rolling, all right?
Go ahead. Next
True or
question.
false?
Yep.
Brock Osweiler will start a game for the Broncos this season.
I'm going to say true. I think Brock Osweiler, they brought him back for a reason, Mike. He's familiar with that offense. I think Brock Osweiler will start. In fact, if this number was more than 2 games, I would say the over on Brock Osweiler. I think he's going to start a handful of games for the Broncos this year.
Yeah, 3 seems like the magic number for me in my head. I don't know how or why, but he's going to end up doing it. By the way, John Elway, snake it till you make it. Got Brock Osweiler for way cheaper than they were offering back in the day. This is all coming up Elway right now.
Oh my God. Hembo is drinking. He is drinking. Hembo is drinking tomato sauce with raisins. Yeah, you got 15 seconds here. I need to see an empty cup in the next 15 seconds. That cup is empty. That cup is empty. That cup. Lick the sides there.
Please don't do it.
Lick the sides. Oh. He licked the sides. Albert Breer next.
First time skydiving?
Sure is.
Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump.
Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem?
Tandem? That's a great idea.
Are you a certified instructor?
No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't